Welcome to today's video, where we'll dive deep into the mysterious, chilling, and sometimes unbelievable world of death. From bizarre things that happen to the human body after life ends, to strange rituals performed around the globe, and even the haunting mysteries of near-death experiences, you're about to hear 10 strange facts about death that will give you goosebumps. Stay with me until the end, because fact 10 is so eerie, it might completely change how you think about what happens after we die. Fact 1, the body can sing after death. It sounds like something straight out of a horror movie, but it's real. After death, gases build up inside the body as bacteria begin breaking down tissue. These gases have to escape somewhere, and sometimes they pass through the vocal cords. The result? Groans, moans, and strange squeaks that sound disturbingly human. In medieval times, when people kept bodies in their homes before burial, these noises terrified families. Some even believed the dead were trying to communicate, or worse, coming back to life. Today, morticians and forensic workers still occasionally hear these unsettling sounds in morgues. Imagine standing in a silent room full of bodies. And suddenly one of them sighs. Creepy, right? Fact 2, hair and nails don't really keep growing. You've probably heard the old saying that hair and nails keep growing after death. But this is actually a myth. What really happens is that the skin begins to dry out and shrink back, especially around the fingers, toes, and scalp. As the skin retracts, nails and hair look longer, even though they haven't grown at all. This illusion has fueled centuries of terrifying folklore about corpses that refuse to rest. In some cultures, it was even seen as a sign that the dead were turning into vampires. So the next time you see an old horror story about a corpse with long, curling nails, remember, it's not growth, it's just a gruesome trick of nature. Fact 3, the dead can still move. Death is not as instant as many people believe. Even after the heart stops beating, tiny electrical impulses can remain in the muscles for hours. This can cause sudden twitches, jerks, or even more dramatic movements. There are reports of bodies sitting up slightly, or moving their arms as though reaching for something. For people working in hospitals or morgues, this is one of the most disturbing things to witness. Imagine declaring someone dead, only to see their fingers twitch or their torso shift. Science explains it as leftover energy in the muscles, but that doesn't make it any less terrifying to watch. Fact 4, turning ashes into diamonds. In some parts of the world, families have found a way to keep their loved ones close in a very unusual way, by turning their ashes into diamonds. Special labs in Switzerland, Japan, and other countries use high pressure and high temperature to compress carbon from human ashes into sparkling gemstones. These memorial diamonds can then be set into rings, necklaces, or earrings. For some, it's a beautiful tribute, carrying a loved one with them every day. For others, the thought of wearing a piece of human remains as jewelry is unsettling, even macabre. Would you wear a diamond made from someone you loved? Or would that be too strange? Fact 5, walking with the dead in Indonesia. Among the Toraja people of Indonesia, death is not an ending but a continuation of life. They practice a ritual called main, where families exhume the bodies of their loved ones every few years. They carefully clean the corpses, change their clothes, and even walk them around the village. It's seen as a celebration of love and respect, not horror. To outsiders, it's almost unimaginable, walking side by side with the preserved body of your grandmother or father. But for the Toraja, it is a joyful reunion. This tradition reminds us that death doesn't mean separation everywhere in the world. Sometimes, it means staying physically close, even long after the last breath. Fact 6, the mystery of near-death experiences. Countless people who have been declared clinically dead and then revived describe eerily similar experiences. They talk about floating outside their bodies, moving through a tunnel of bright light, and being greeted by deceased relatives. Some even claim to have overheard conversations in hospital rooms while dead, details they couldn't possibly have known otherwise. Scientists suggest these visions are caused by the brain's chemistry as it shuts down, releasing floods of hallucination-inducing chemicals. But many survivors insist what they saw was real, a glimpse of life after death. Whether you believe in the science or the spirituality, one thing is certain, near-death experiences remain one of the greatest mysteries of the human condition. Fact 7, sky burials and the gift of the body. In Tibetan Buddhism, there exists a ritual called a sky burial. Instead of burying or cremating the body, families take the deceased to a mountaintop, where vultures consume the remains. Far from being gruesome, this is seen as the ultimate act of generosity, feeding the birds, nourishing the earth, and allowing the body to become part of the natural cycle. Westerners often find the idea shocking, even disturbing. But to Tibetans, it is sacred. In their view, the body is just an empty shell after death. What matters is the soul, which has already moved on. It's a powerful reminder of how different cultures view death in radically different ways. Fact 8. The brain lives on for minutes. Modern science has shown that the brain doesn't shut down immediately after the heart stops. In fact, brain activity can continue for several minutes. This means a person may still be conscious, hearing voices, or aware of their surroundings, even though they are considered medically dead. There are chilling stories from medical staff who believe patients may have been aware during resuscitation attempts, trapped inside their silent bodies. The thought of knowing you've died, but not being able to move or respond, is truly the stuff of nightmares. Fact 9. Natural mummies of the earth. When we think of mummies, we imagine Egyptian kings wrapped in golden tombs. But nature itself can create mummies, perfectly preserved bodies that defy time. In cold climates, like the frozen Alps, or in acidic peat bogs, bodies have been discovered thousands of years old, with skin, hair, and even tattoos intact. One of the most famous is Ötzi the Iceman, a 5,000-year-old body found frozen in the Alps. Scientists could still study his organs, his meals, and even his last moments. It's almost as if nature has a way of freezing life in time, keeping stories locked inside the skin of the dead. Fact 10. The glow of the dead. Believe it or not, there are documented cases of bodies glowing faintly in the dark. This eerie phenomenon is caused by certain bacteria that feed on phosphorus in the human body, releasing a faint blue or green light. It's a form of natural bioluminescence, the same type of glow found in fireflies or some deep-sea creatures. Imagine walking through a dark cemetery and spotting a faint light shining from the earth. Some might think it's a ghostly presence. In truth, it's science at work, but that doesn't make it any less haunting. And there you have it, 10 strange and spine-tingling facts about death that remind us just how mysterious the end of life really is. From glowing corpses, to diamonds made of ashes, to the eerie sounds and movements of the dead, the line between the living and the departed is far thinner than most of us realize. Which fact gave you the biggest chills? Was it the glowing bodies, the moving corpses, or the thought of hearing voices after death? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this dive into the strange and the macabre, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell, so you never miss another journey into the world's mysteries. Until next time, stay curious. And maybe, keep the lights on tonight.